Have you ever wondered why some states in the U.S. call themselves Commonwealths, while others stick to states? What's behind this choice of words? Are these states different from the others? Do they have any special powers or roles? Or is it a fancy term from history that doesn't mean much today? You might be surprised to learn that the word Commonwealth has a deep history and a significant meaning. It's more than just a name. It tells a story about these states and their values. So, let's take a simple look at the story behind this unique name, its meaning, and why these 4 states chose to stand out in this unique way. Number 1. Understanding the term Commonwealth. In its most straightforward assertion, it's a term that has evolved from the Old English word commonweal, defined as the well-being or welfare of the public. When used about a state, it highlights a political community formed for the common good and stresses the government's commitment to the well-being of its citizens. In the U.S., the term is mainly symbolic. The states that call themselves Commonwealths do so to reflect their historical roots and values. Importantly, this designation does not grant them unique powers or status within the federal system. Legally, they are identical to other states regarding governance, representation, and constitutional rights. Looking at the history of governance ideas, nothing has been as central to society's principles as the common good. Since time immemorial, leaders have used this term to remind a government that such a responsibility exists for its people. The term Commonwealth, though rooted in English political history, resonates with these universal ideals. Number 2. Historical origins of the term. Commonwealth is an English term popularized in the 17th century. It became significant during the English Civil War and under Oliver Cromwell. The idea was to emphasize governance by the people for the people, contrasting with monarchical rule. When American colonies declared independence from Britain, the term resonated with ideals of democracy and public welfare. Some states adopted Commonwealth in their official names to reflect these values and their rejection of royal authority. Interestingly, the English Commonwealth period, 1649 to 1660, represented an experiment in governance without a monarchy. Though short-lived, it left a lasting legacy in political thought. Daniel Elbridge of Massachusetts said, "The title or distinct name of a commonwealth better suits the idea of the early American leaders about the system of governance as they believed in Enlightenment and the English Civil War's lesson. For many, it represented liberty from autocratic rule and free-spirited support of democratic principles." Number 3. The 4 U.S. Commonwealth states. Massachusetts. Only 2 years after the state style became official did the Massachusetts Constitution of 1780, drafted mainly by John Adams, use the term Commonwealth. It focused on the government's function of safeguarding the general interest of all its people. Today, Massachusetts complies with this title as a reference to the state's revolutionary legacy. Even the acceptance of the term was presumably influenced by the fact that Massachusetts became the focal point of revolutionary actions. It played a crucial role in the American Revolution by presenting significant events to the nation, such as the Boston Tea Party and the War of Lexington and Concord. When selecting the name Commonwealth, Massachusetts declared its devotion to the principles best exemplified by self-government and mutual accountability. Virginia. Virginia adopted independence in 1776, and the term is still used in its official name. Having been among the first to do so, the label affirmed the state's dedication to auguring a government for the people, one independent of Britain. It was supported by the state's early leaders, such as Thomas Jefferson, Patrick Henry, and others from the United States. The Virginia Declaration of Rights, written by George Mason, witnesses the state's Commonwealth heritage. This document was not only the source of ideas for the Bill of Rights, but also spoke of a conception of government as being primarily protective of persons' rights and as having the goal of the welfare of all citizens. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania adopted the name Commonwealth from its early form of governance. It is enshrined in its constitution to refer to a term that was said to hold democratic and community orientation principles. William Penn, who founded Pennsylvania, desired a moral, humane, and tolerant culture. This is the essence of the Commonwealth culture. This point was powerful since the state was founded upon Quakers' principles, which stressed equality and mutual benefit. By adopting the name of the Commonwealth, the government of Pennsylvania underlined its mission of just and balanced governance. Kentucky. Kentucky, originally part of Virginia, inherited the term Commonwealth when it became a separate state in 1792. The designation links to its parent state's history and values. Kentucky's early leaders saw the term as a way to highlight their dedication to the principles of democracy and common good. The state's rich natural resources and agricultural heritage also shaped its identity as a commonwealth. Kentucky's leaders sought to foster a sense of unity and purpose among its citizens by emphasizing shared prosperity and collective responsibility. Number 4. Legal and political implications. Another major misconception is that the status of the Commonwealth state standard entails specific powers, or the differentiated status of the Commonwealth state and federal government. But this is not so. In practice, governance. Commonwealth states operate under the same constitutional framework as other states. Their governance systems, from the executive to the judiciary, align with the broader legal and constitutional rules that apply across all states. Being a commonwealth does not give these states any extra or unique powers within the U.S. federal structure. Federal representation. Like other states, Commonwealth states have equal representation in the U.S. Senate, with 2 senators per state, and proportional representation in the House of Representatives based on their population. There is no difference in how their voices are heard or their interests are represented at the federal level. State laws. The laws and constitutions of Commonwealth states are crafted and enforced like those of other states. They adhere to the federal constitution and maintain their autonomy over local governance like any other state. It is important to note that the term Commonwealth has no legal or administrative meaning regarding additional rights or responsibilities. However, it carries immense symbolic weight and remains a source of pride and identity for the people living in these states. Many residents see it as a connection to their historical roots and a reflection of their values. For instance, the term evokes a sense of community and collective responsibility, emphasizing the idea of governance for the common good. Number 5. Why use the term Commonwealth? The use of Commonwealth in these 4 states reflects a conscious effort to emphasize governance ideals for the common good. It serves as a reminder of their historical commitment to democratic principles, community welfare, and independence. For example, the term Commonwealth is often used in official state documents, and seals reinforce these values. The Seal of Virginia, for instance, features the motto Sic Semper Tyrannis, thus always to tyrants, a direct reference to the rejection of oppressive rule. The symbolism of the term extends beyond governance. It's a way for these states to distinguish themselves and celebrate their unique historical contributions to the nation's development. Whether through educational initiatives, public ceremonies, or cultural programs, the Commonwealth identity continues to shape the narratives of these states. Number 6. Comparison with U.S. territories and the British Commonwealth. U.S. territories. However, this is where Commonwealth states differ from other territories of the United States, such as Puerto Rico or the Northern Mariana Islands, also called Commonwealths. These areas have a different relationship with the federal government than a state. They are entirely autonomous but do not have fair congressional dimensions, and they don't have the right to vote for president. In these territories, Commonwealth means a certain number of rights, with the understanding that they depend on the U.S. federal system. Such a duality often causes discourses on statehood, representation, and rights. British Commonwealth. Another point of confusion arises from the British Commonwealth, a political association of 56 member countries, most of which were former territories of the British Empire. Unlike the British Commonwealth, U.S. Commonwealth states have no external affiliations or memberships. The British Commonwealth emphasizes cooperation among member nations, whereas the U.S. Commonwealth designation is purely a historical and symbolic title. Understanding this distinction helps clarify misconceptions about the term's meaning and significance. Number 7. Modern-day relevance. The term Commonwealth in these states today is more cultural and historical than politically meaningful. It is much in line with their constitution and charter when they were established, and it's an opportunity to allow them to make their distinct mark in the country's history. It's not every day that the people of indigenous Commonwealth states feel subordinate to the same legal and political structures applicable in other states. However, the title remains familiar and is embraced by most people as one of the perks of their national identity. Public schools, clubs, and county governments in these states also employ the term Commonwealth to increase public knowledge of their history. This identity depicts an evocative part of the culture in the classrooms, through murals or in Commonwealth state tourism advertisements. Thanks for diving into the meaning of Commonwealth with us. Now you know why some states choose this unique title and what it stands for. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more fascinating stories like this. See you in the following video.